Hi there, I'm Atova, welcome to the channel and welcome to my Highfleet beginner tips video. Now my first tip would be to plan your moves carefully. At the beginning you get a nice little video explaining how the world works, where your objective is, some of the things that are going to be in your way like strike groups, aircraft carriers and missile carriers, and also that you've got transports you can intercept that will give you some money if you can capture them. So plan carefully, look what you need to do that's going to benefit your fleet. Do you need fuel? Do you want some enemy intel? Do you need to reinforce? Do you need to make some money, sell some supplies, repair? And then plan accordingly. If you've got some intel from a transmission, that a strike group somewhere, try to avoid them. If your fleet's not in the ship to fight that fight, then go around them, try to avoid them. If you want to intercept a transport for some money, do that instead. This leads me nicely on to the next tip. Attack transports if you see them, especially if you're close to them and you don't think a strike group's nearby. It's a good way of earning some cash, and they're just taking things to each settlement, and they're generally only got a couple of escorts with them, so it's worth getting one of these if you're close enough. Just be careful, you don't want them to report your position and then a strike group come after you, so risk reward. For my next tip, is if you see the red flag on the map, move out. Now maybe this was just me, but early on I didn't really know what the red flag did. I thought it's probably bad, but I wasn't sure. It does show on the video at the beginning, but it's quite easy to miss. If you see that red flag, you want to get out of there because strike groups have probably already fired missiles at you from afar and are coming to get you. My next tip would be to use missiles if you've got them. Now I don't mean nuclear missiles because that's a whole different ball game. If you look in the top right of the screen where missile control is, I've got a KH-15 here and it doesn't have a nuclear symbol next to it, which means that's good to go and the enemy won't retaliate with their own nuclear missiles. Now missiles can be quite hard to find. You get some missiles when you take over a fleet HQ, but they're nuclear. Other missiles that don't have the nuclear symbol on, you can get in the shipworks, but you must have a ship that's capable of firing them. They're also worth a lot of money if you don't want to use them. You can sell them for a pretty good profit if you do get any. But just be careful, if you are using nuclear missiles, bad things can happen, as you can see. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, my next tip is going to focus on combat. So you want to try and get under the enemy if you can. I've noticed on a lot of the enemy ships, the armour at the bottom is not great, and if they're carrying bombs and things like that, you can really have a chance at causing a chain reaction and blowing them up. So try to get under the enemy, or even just make sure you keep an eye on the targeting screen to see where their armour is the weakest, and that'll give you a nice little advantage while you're fighting. So I've got 3 in 1 for you now for this last tip. Prioritise, burn and exploit. What I mean by that is try to prioritise your targets. You're not going to get anywhere by flying around, hitting every ship once, hoping that one of them is going to go down, hoping that you might get lucky with one of their missiles hitting the other one. The best thing to do is just pick a target, focus on it, get out of the game, and then focus on your next target. You also want to try and use your afterburners in fights. They're great for dodging missiles at the last moment. They're also great for attacking strike groups like I'm doing on screen now. Because they're quite slow moving, I'm parked quite far away, use my afterburners to dodge their fire, and I'm trying to hit them and I'm missing quite a lot there. So brilliant. Take your tips from me. Anyway, if you've made it this far, I hope these have helped. Thank you very much for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe and I'll be able to keep making videos. Thanks very much.